It's a trip west from where Toronto played their last pseudo-home game as Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League comes to Tampa, Florida. And Raymond James Stadium hosts the multiple Gold Cups, She Believes Cups, and yes, the Super Bowl. Today, it's Toronto FC taking on Cruz Azul, a Canadian side and a Mexican side meeting in the United States. Welcome, everybody. Mike Watts, so glad to have you along for leg number one of this quarterfinal. The road to the trophy is a unique one for Toronto FC. If they are to continue on, they would potentially see yet another Mexican team in the next round. They knocked off León. Meanwhile, for Cruz Azul, the first leg a bit hairy. The second leg absolutely dominant. Cruz Azul over Arcai of Haiti, 8-0 in the second leg. How did these teams get here in the round of 16? We begin with this Toronto side taking on Club León. And the expectations going into the second leg, with Toronto having garnered a road goal already, was that León would come out firing, and that they did. Really a solid performance from Toronto FC across the board. Noble Okello getting an opportunity. Ball knocked across the second time. Okello was deemed offside. One would think maybe VAR would say something different. More on that in a moment. The goal would be disallowed. Toronto would grab the opening goal, however. Patrick Mullins knocks this home. Gave a little bit of breathing room for Toronto FC. They would get another one. Justin Morrow, the deflection with the goalkeeper. It would count for the Cleveland, Ohio native. Rolls into the net. 2-0 Toronto, 3-1 in the aggregate. One back here for León. All of a sudden, everything's still on the table. Toronto able to see out the result. 2-1 on the night, 3-2 in aggregate. Meanwhile, highlights of the second leg for Cruz Azul back at the Estadio Azteca against Arcai. Arcai had to be the shock of the opening foray in the round of 16. Their Cinderella run ended 3 minutes in the Azteca. Gutierrez grabbed the first goal. Yoshi Yotun grabs the second goal. Hernandez turning, and a decent save there from the young goalkeeper. And ultimately would simply get out of control. 3-0 at 25 minutes. Ball off the post. It was simply getting away from Arcai at the back end of the first half. It would be 3-0 at the break, and it could have been worse if not for Marceline's consistent intervention. Into the second half, it would continue to pour in goals for Montoya in the 49th, Reyes in the 61st. Montoya would score again in the 64th. That made it 6-0. He was the only player who scored twice. Angulo and Escobar would score as well. And notably for Arcai, as soon as that match ended, swapping shirts with Cruz Azul, there was tremendous respect between the two sides when it was done. When a touchdown is scored at Raymond James Stadium, the cannons fire out of that pirate ship. On this day, no touchdowns. Perhaps we'll see some goals. For Toronto FC, they're nomads, vagabonds, trying to find their way through the United States as they're not allowed to travel north of the Canadian border without entering into quarantine. So here they are, stuck in the United States, 0-1-1 to begin the MLS season, and yet they knock off Club León by picking up a decent draw on the road at Estadio León and then going to Wide World of Sports at Disney World in Orlando and bagging the 2-1 win. It's a Toronto side that is quite vocal, that they feel the momentum is real, that Chris Armas' side just trying to truly grip the new format of pressure that they intend to bring, very much like New York Red Bulls, much like what Jesse Marsch has brought to the equation for the Red Bull organization elsewhere, and is Ali Curtis, who's joined the club over the past few years as the general manager with Tim Bezbatchenko's exit for Columbus, as he brought to New York Red Bulls. So you would say that Toronto is trying to turn up the heat a little bit today on the leaders in the League MX. Meanwhile, for Cruz Azul, this has been an unbreakable defense in their domestic league. They pitched 2 shutouts in Champions League, but the real shocker right now is they've only conceded 10 times in the League MX season. 16 games down there, 1 to go. They're 5 points clear. They will finish as the #1 seed moving into the Liguilla. And there are concerns that their most recent result against Atlético San Luis left something to be desired. So perhaps this is a side with a point to prove, even though they've already locked up the Liga MX #1 spot moving into this Clausura Liguilla. So much of the conversation has to be, as it always is, Liga MX side, MLS side. Very much so, you could argue that Canadian sides have provided a real roadblock for Mexican sides in and of themselves over the past few years, including this Toronto FC side that made a run to the final a few short years ago. But as you go into the quarterfinals, 8 teams remain, with Leon going down to Toronto. You're looking at 5 MLS sides, 3 Liga MX sides. And it remains the fact that while Mexico has dominated Champions League, MLS has come closer and closer to grabbing the most elusive trophy that's been just in the edge of their grasp. Just because MLS has one more team that got through at the expense of a Liga MX side creating this 5-3 advantage, no one would come into this saying that MLS has a decided numerical advantage against the Liga MX sides. There are big clubs remaining, and certainly fans in Mexico and beyond would expect that this Mexican side, Cruz Azul, in the scintillating form that they're in, will deal a fatal blow to Toronto FC's hopes of reaching a Champions League final once again. It truly is fascinating. A home game far away from home yet again for Toronto FC, taking on a Cruz Azul side that will try to impose themselves, get a road goal, and get back to the Estadio Azteca with a decided advantage. Out of the tunnel at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, in the American Southeast, it's Toronto FC of Canada and Major League Soccer, beginning the next quarterfinal foray against the Liga MX giant, Cruz Azul. Closing in on kickoff behind closed doors in Tampa, Ricardo Montero oversaw that match in Orlando between Toronto and Club Leon, the second leg. He leads this officiating crew, and this is a new wrinkle to Champions League. Alan Chapman will oversee video assistant referee. This is just the second match in CONCACAF's distinguished history with VAR. And will it be used for the first time here tonight? Time will tell. The starting lineup for Toronto FC, Chris Armas leads the side. They're without Richie Larea due to 2 yellow cards in the opening 2 legs. Michael Bradley captains the side. For Cruz Azul, in comes Orbelin Pineda. Juan Escobar comes in at center back, and they have made significant changes off their most recent performance against Arcai. You saw Josie Altidore there a moment ago. And indeed, the excitement around Toronto is they're finally becoming healthy once again. Jonathan Osorio moves into the starting 11, was available to come off the bench and did feature scoring late against Vancouver in domestic play for Toronto FC. Michael Bradley finally does have reinforcements of Canadian and American variety, but they are without Alejandro Pasuelo yet again. Underway in Tampa, Toronto FC in red, Cruz Azul in blue. Major matchup in the quarterfinals of Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Jesus Corona mans the goal on the Cruz Azul end. For Chris Armas, a difficult start to the first two MLS games of his tenure as manager for Toronto FC. But you'd have to say, scintillating stuff. Creating some real belief against Club Leon in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League's opening fixtures. There's a foul here. Walter Montoya went down. Juan Reynoso manages Cruz Azul. There were doubts that lingered. He was named the manager. Siboldi out. And simply managed to finish first in the League MX table. And now it's 16 unbeaten for La Máquina.
Come on, Justin!
Knotted up by Romo. Down by Morel. Lost by Priso. Skips ahead. And Montoya helps to wind this wide. Rivero. The slide in by Morel. And Bono's there. Alex Bono helped backstop Toronto FC to the 2018 Champions League final. Ultimately a defeat for Toronto FC in penalties. The hands of Chivas of Guadalajara. It's a stalemate. One wonders if this is a statement of intent from Cruz Azul. Priso. Chip back to Josie Altidore. Touch let him down. Alvarado. Leading forward. Angulo. There's the shot. There's the goal. What a magnificent strike for Cruz Azul. And inside 3 minutes, a remarkable finish from Angulo. This isn't why he earns his money. When he does it, he's earned every penny. 2 goals in the Clausura. He lets fly. And the curling ball, Bono's got no chance. And the road goal early on for Brian Angulo and Cruz Azul. Up. 29 goals for Emelec in 2018. Emelec's such a massive club. Loaned to Tijuana, only bagged 4. And the Ecuadorian scores the biggest goal of his Cruz Azul tenure thus far. Aldrete. Well, you have to say for Toronto FC, this changes absolutely everything about the mathematics. Pushed forward by Delgado. Delgado on the attack. One would imagine it won't change the tactics at this early stage. Eric Zavaleta plays it out. Re-signed with the club in February during the MLS offseason. Managed a 5-appearance season in 2020, his lowest number of minutes going back to 2013. Schaffelberg races back, caught Rivero. The flag up, immediate and punitive. A free kick for Cruz Azul. A dangerous position to swing through service.
More, Jacob! More! Tight! Here we go.
Watch Bono sets the wall.
Let's go. Watch this one. Hey,
it'll be Pineda.
Up! Back side over!
Well recovered by Alro. Play will come back. There's a grab. That ball was released. You'd have to say this is the biggest game in Ralph Priso's young life. Canadian Youth International, 18 years young. Debuted back in October as Toronto's 25th ever homegrown player. The roster mechanism used in Major League Soccer for academy products. Pineda. Baca. Head for Romo. Omar Gonzalez whips. Service across, and Morrow steers this over the end line. Corner, Cruz Azul. The question coming into this quarterfinal was the advantage for MLS simply quantitative or qualitative. Certainly they have more teams, but is Cruz Azul the odds-on favorite as the leader in the Mexican First Division? They'll look to double their lead. Pineda, header snapped high. Bono found Aldrete. The decision-making begins from the Peruvian manager.
Gotta win the second ball all day in there.
Gulo pursued. Omar Gonzalez won most every trophy in North America there is to be won at this stage. League MX, MLS, Concacaf Champions League. Delgado. That first direct ball just hasn't gotten through. Alro pursues. Advantage was played to Alvarado. Alvarado's cross for Angulo. It's been stifling from Cruz Azul to start. Priso gave it away. Angulo winds it wide. It's a simple recovery by Bono. Bradley. Schaffelberg with good speed against Escobar.
But look, this does nothing.
Brian Angulo's goal, the difference maker right now. What a goal it was, 3rd minute. Throw from Morrow. Goal proved decisive against Club Leon in the round of 16. Pineda rose up, Montoya. Pineda denied, play continues. Romo misfires.
Justin, give us the cover.
Successful switch out of pressure. Montoya overrun by Priso. Michael Bradley drops in to facilitate for Toronto FC. Osorio. Golden Boot winner, the 2018 Champions League final run for Toronto. Debuting in the competition here tonight for 2021. Morrow. Rolled ahead by Zavaleta. Schaffelberg combining well. Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg breaks through. There's the cross. Knocked across by Altidore. Priso. Auro did well. Bradley. Delgado. Bradley. Better sustained moment here for Toronto, and it breaks down to the foot of Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg, the beneficiary of a dead ball there. Altidore. Doesn't look like this is something that Alan Chapman and the VAR will look at. Excellent job of keeping those arms out of harm's way in the back by Aguilar. Baca. Arm potentially extended up. Tipped away from Osorio. Delgado. Osorio ran out of real estate. Auro's challenge. Be a tad much there for Roberto Alvarado. 22 years old, starred in Olympic qualifying, and he proposed perhaps there's a bit of history to be made by the Mexicans in Tokyo this summer, similar to their gold medal run in 2012 in London. Sounds of the game and a helicopter overhead in Tampa. Squirms out to Morrow. Priso for Osorio. Bradley. Morrow.
Marky, good spot.
Rivero to throw.
Come on. Yes, go.
Bradley plays this across Osorio. Osorio somehow whittled that back across the face of goal. Nothing to be had there for Toronto. Great control by Bradley in the first place, and Osorio nutmegging this through the legs of Juan Escobar. Looking for Delgado. For Rivero, native of Montevideo in Uruguay. And now the pressure of Toronto is starting to really hit home. And Bradley with space. Karam's off the back heel of Altidore, maintained by Auro. Delgado plays it forward. Altidore downshifting for Bradley. Escobar clears. Omar Gonzalez strong into the aerial challenge, sends it out. You'd have to say this is one of the most odd nights in Toronto sports history. The Toronto Raptors playing nearby, the National Basketball Association side, against the Brooklyn Nets at Amalie Arena, a home game for them in Tampa. Toronto FC's playing at the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa as well in this Champions League fixture. The Toronto Blue Jays are playing at the home of the Tampa Bay Rays in St. Petersburg. Won their game against the Washington Nationals in Major League Baseball 9-5. 3 Toronto teams all playing home games tonight in Tampa or St. Petersburg, Florida. Zavaleta into the challenge here, and he's won a yellow card for his efforts. On Oberlin Pineda. Ball pinged forward and threw his hand back. And for Zavaleta, have to be a bit more careful here moving forward. With this Toronto side going back to 2015, his uncle used to be the coach, Greg Vanney, now the coach at LA Galaxy in MLS.
Move your feet, no foul.
Off the restart, swung out to Luis Romo. Alvarado. It's a very compact Toronto side defensively. Delgado. Bit of frustration there. Concede the corner. It's Alvarado, who bagged over a dozen caps in 2019 for the Mexican national team. Stars the Olympic side. Service across, bounces down, the turning shot deflected back from Escobar. Romo.
Cortito ahí.
Second ball route, Mike, second one. Jacob. Second one. Arrive into space, Jake. Arrive into there.
Caromed off of Osorio. And one high up the field here by Justin Morrow. Morrow serves, bounces all the way through Osorio! Toronto equalize in the 20th. And the Golden Boot winner in Toronto's last deep run in Champions League pounces in his tournament debut in 2021. A ball that pinballed around, ricocheted off the sliding Rafael Baca. And Osorio, patient, allows this to bounce back to him and buries it. Certainly a big sigh of relief for Toronto. It took a while to find their sea legs, but the reaction from the first-year manager, Chris Armas. And an old hero is a hero once more. Toronto's all-time leader in appearances, all competitions, converts in the 20th. And Cruz Azul leads in the aggregate with this road goal, as Toronto tries to eke out an advantage before they have to make that treacherous trip to Mexico City in a week's time. You'd say it's unlucky for Aldrete in the back, but Osorio in perfect position to slam it home. It's a clever restart. Oh, shit. The header. And back across and in! Juan Escobar! Cruz Azul's response is just 2 minutes after the Toronto goal. 2-1. A cascade of frustration. The header from Angulo, surely across the line of Escobar's volition. The header squared across and ekes out into the goal. The finishing touch by Montoya. Emphatic, if unnecessary. And Juan Escobar, so proudly an Azul star. Meanwhile, our first instance of VAR in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League comes in this moment.
Alan, silencio, silencio, Victor. Alan, I am here. I am ready.
Alan Chapman is the VAR.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, play through. Yes, yeah, play through, please. Play through. Yeah, okay, offside from number 24. Offside from number 24, the line final position. Okay, okay, offside, no goal. Offside, no goal.
Looks like he'd be off, wouldn't he?
Offside. Mike, come on, man.
And no goal offside. The first instance of VAR in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League disallows a Cruz Azul goal. And a bit of history here in a competition that did intend to add VAR in the latter stages, but moved that up. Toronto, who felt that a disallowed goal in the previous fixture against Club Leon would have been undone by VAR, now the beneficiary of its first usage in Champions League. One more look at that stray foot from Escobar off that flick-on header. Now, a bit of background on this. The system is being applied to deal with clear and obvious errors. With minimum interference, maximum benefit. No drawing of lines for offside. If it's not visible and obvious, it wouldn't be overturned. That not the case here, and Toronto spared their blushes. Toronto pushes forward. Pineda. Montoya. Attack on again here for Cruz Azul. Pineda pushed away. Omar Gonzalez, another set piece to come for Cruz Azul. Pineda set up Omar Gonzalez. Tried to wrap around the outside. Gonzalez commits the foul. What can Cruz Azul do with another opportunity?
Top of the box, Ralph.
I got two this way.
You see it? To your right. Yeah, I can see it. So you want me here to block it?
Hey, hard here.
He won.
Hey, close.
Hey, Mike, bump him to the back. To the back.
Where do you want here?
Good.
Sam's coming in front of you. Sam's coming in front of you.
Massive moment potentially in set piece defending. This is off the training ground. Appeal for a handball. And this driven wide. Referee saying this is a corner. Baca, the initial blast. Baca, the arm extended out by Osorio. The referee gesturing to wait at the corner. The VAR, Alan Chapman in the ear of Ricardo Montero. Here's another look. Gets up and hits the arm. That's as clear and obvious as it gets. In theory. The whistle from the referee. A stoppage. Osorio suggesting he knew what happened, but our referee will go to VAR for the second time in less than 5 minutes.
Show me the point of contact, please. Is it your point of contact? Is it your point of contact? There's no way. Yeah.
His hands are in his body.
Very true.
The first night of VAR in Concacaf Champions League comes with 2 reviews in a 5-minute span. One disallowed a Cruz Azul goal deemed to be offside.
No penalty. Okay. No penalty. Yeah. No penalty. What? Hey.
This is a corner. That arm extended. Apparently not unnaturally so. And that effort of self-defense by Osorio. Header away by Aldrete. Nope. Schaffelberg chasing. There's Corona. Floated forward, the pressure continues to mount on Toronto FC. Rolled wide, Rivero. Romo. Schaffelberg got a piece. Throw, Cruz Azul.
Off right. You're right. You're left. Yep, I'm here. Ground, jump. Ground. Good. Left. Ground. Go, Eric.
Rivero waits. Osorio, the equalizer for Toronto. Game where VAR made an immediate impact in more ways than one. Escobar collides in. Perhaps he was front running to get to that ball. Schaffelberg was chasing. There will be a yellow card for it as well. There's the yellow to Escobar. Escobar joins Zabaleta in the referee's book. Juan Reynoso continuing to argue that point with the fourth official. Bradley. Free kick well over Gonzalez.
Josie, you can creep up there, Josie. On the pass you go.
That's the look at the call a moment ago. Juan Reynoso likely was peeking back at the monitor as well. Said if the arm's in front of him, knocks off his arm. Shouldn't VAR turn that into a penalty? It's going to be a fascinating process. Champions League moves into major tournaments in CONCACAF. An important step, but one that may not come with pitfalls. That is a handball. The leap by Delgado. The attack continues for Cruz Azul. Settled, turned. Escobar watches this. Caramel for a corner.
Everything ends up here. Fucking react, man. Come on. Step slow to react, to think everything. Come on. Post mark. Joe's one to your left.
Screen bread.
One to your left. One to your left. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Yes, Osh. Yes, Osh.
Orbelín Pineda. Corner. Header down, toward the line and in. And there's the answer from Angulo. A goal disallowed. A penalty not given. Angulo doesn't care. He's bagged the brace. Cruz Azul does lead 2-1. Angulo has become the story of the night without doubt. The service very much onside. Have Moro on his back. Turned, and as he goes to ground, he winds it by Bono. And it is a 2-1 lead. To bring some happiness to Juan Reynoso. That's 2 road goals now for Cruz Azul away to Toronto's home away from home, Tampa, Florida. Gets by Altidore. You think about the clarifications made by IFAB earlier this year at their general meeting in relation to a handball offense. Deliberate touching of the ball with the hand or arm, touching the ball with their hand or arm when it makes the body unnaturally bigger. The argument certainly, from the VAR's perspective previously, was that the body of Jonathan Osorio was not made unnaturally bigger.
Big, Mike, big.
Out roll.
Jake, you gotta in the net, get those secondary. Inside, Jake, you're inside. Come on, Ed, tempo. Yes.
Bradley. Morrow. Farrow's foul. Allows Morrow a moment's respite.
Second one.
Sky long. Zavaleta knocked off by Angulo. Free kick, Toronto.
Come on, Eric. Come on, Eric. Up here. Yes, Mike, we're here.
Altidore seeking Auro. Didn't get it to the Brazilian. Does accept the throw. Bradley trying to make himself available. Osorio slashed back and cleared by Montoya. Priso rolled over to Morrow. The leading touch, and Montoya commits the foul, and again Morrow to ground. Be Michael Bradley, longtime captain of the U.S. national team, to put it in play. A lot of hand fighting. Gonzalez seemed to be overly aggressive here. Dragging by Pablo Aguilar. Who at Club America managed 2 Champions League crowns. Rolled ahead, and Cruz Azul takes issue again. Free kick, Toronto. Delgado spun out. Priso. 40 minutes gone. It's been Cruz Azul's night, no question.
Inside, Jacob.
They've looked every bit of the team that has dominated the Mexican League this year. Only one loss, 16 unbeaten all competitions, a stretch of 11 straight wins in the league. A new club record. Aldrete. And one quietly begins to wonder, Cruz Azul has conceded 10 times in 18 games since the turn of the new year. The 11th came tonight. Morrow crossing, Bradley arrives. Deflected for a corner. But if Toronto's to win this tie, they're going to have to do it with at least 2 more goals. It's a big ask. Bradley, short, Delgado. Morrow. Pineda. Good idea to quaff that out of pressure. The problem being, ushered it over the end line. Baca's back up. Last corner short to Delgado. Bradley drives this across. Altidore the target. Priso plays it over. Auro. Schaffelberg. Priso trying to keep that in, allows play to continue for Cruz Azul. Angulo.
Look early, here we go. 2. Good Jacob, right. Right. Also down.
A free kick on Schaffelberg's foul for Cruz Azul. First ball away, Rivero. Gaining his footing, Alvarado. Bouncing ball, Altidore scuffed the clearance. And this struck by Montoya. Another look. Angulo shrugged off.
Come on, Rob, come on. You gotta get inside, not the area.
Delgado. Bradley. Good idea to help keep play flowing for Toronto. Altidore. Offside. Josie Altidore returning from injury on the weekend against Vancouver. 3 additional minutes. Corona. Zavaleta, Priso, Bradley, Osorio, now Delgado. Delgado chips. This falls kindly. Now Bradley, Osorio. Karam's back, cleared away with Priso on the prowl, and all the way forward Angulo. 2 goals in this first half. What more does he have in store? Stab back across now Montoya. Zavaleta arrives in the nick of time.
Get out a little bit.
Will be a corner for Pineda. Ball bounces away from Escobar. And this struck at Bono. Past the midway point of the allotted stoppage time, and Cruz Azul keen for a third. Schaffelberg nods this down. Out to Delgado. Can Toronto snatch one right before the break? Schaffelberg, Alvarado.
Michael's on.
Bradley. For Altidore, Karam, corner. Final 40 seconds or so of this first half. Gonzalez, Altidore, Zavaleta, front of mind as Bradley drives. Gonzalez had her down. Corona kept it out. The halftime whistle. VAR 2, Cruz Azul 2, Toronto 1 at the break. Both goals for Cruz Azul from that man. He set the tone in the 3rd minute. Brian Angulo, a magnificent finish. Another in the 34th. He has 2 goals in League MX this year. He's got 2 goals tonight. Jonathan Osorio's goal in the 20th. A brief respite for Toronto, but brief it was. Down the tunnel go Toronto. Disappointment certainly from this first half, and all the belief that they've spoken about, the momentum. Could it be wavering in Tampa? At halftime, Cruz Azul 2, Toronto FC 1. We weren't devoid of highlights to begin this quarterfinal in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League, and it began early on for Cruz Azul against Toronto FC. Brian Angulo, pick your corner. Third minute, 1-0 to the Mexican Giant, and they really looked dominant in the early going. This was their one foible. Morrow took it high up the field. Osorio pounces. Came off of both Aldrete and Escobar in the back. Hammered home by Osorio. It's an equalizer, one that seemingly didn't last for all that long. Escobar responds, ball narrowly over the line, hammered home by Montoya. On the flick, however, VAR, appearance number 1 in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Did Bradley keep him onside? The answer, no. Offside, no goal. VAR would make another appearance shortly thereafter. Back to the monitor. Is this a handball as it got up and hit Jonathan Osorio? The referee looks, deems it remains a corner, no penalty. And Reynoso, the manager for Cruz Azul, saying, see, I can prove it. Cruz Azul would not be denied again, however. They would retake the lead in this first leg. Sliding down the ground, Brian Angulo, 34th minute, would make it 2-1 as we approached halftime. Toronto has more of the possession. Ultimately, in the way that they play, they'd rather gain possession high up the field off Cruz Azul's complacency. That was not the case. Cruz Azul was dynamite moving the ball. They were able to switch sides effectively. When they did get the ball, oftentimes they zoomed forward. They were truly putting on a master class. And for Toronto FC, the concern has to begin to settle in. You're looking for 2 more goals in this tie. Can you get one in the second half and give yourself a chance to grab an away goal and maybe a 1-0 win at the Estadio Azteca? Or do you begin to truly consider the arithmetic of the road goals? It is halftime at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. It's Cruz Azul 2, Toronto FC 1. Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League quarterfinal action. Leg number 1 from Tampa, Florida, in Raymond James Stadium. Cruz Azul 2, Toronto FC 1. How can Toronto FC turn this thing around against a Cruz Azul side that has just been demonstrably dominant? Concern has to be quite real for Toronto, but with 135 minutes to go, still in their hands to be able to come back at this stage. It is a high-powered press that they tend to operate. The idea of 2 more goals against most teams wouldn't seem outlandish, but the concern for Toronto FC is that this Cruz Azul side has allowed 11 goals in 18 and a half games since the turn of the new year. They are 16 unbeaten, and they are truly dominant in their home venue, Estadio Azteca. They'll need to play their best 45 minutes of the short year thus far. Whistle blows as Cruz Azul returns to the field to take on Toronto FC in Tampa, Florida. Game played behind closed doors in unique circumstances tonight. All 3 Toronto pro teams that are playing at the moment are playing in Tampa or St. Petersburg across the bay. The Raptors, the Blue Jays, and of course this Toronto FC side. Fascinating evening without doubt. Osorio followed that up. Reigning champion of Ligue MX sent packing by Toronto FC in the first round. It was the only MLS Ligue MX matchup in that opening round of 16 in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Club Lyon 3-2 in aggregate. Unable to overcome this Toronto side. It said that gave them all the momentum. Seeing Josie Altidore, Jonathan Osorio returning from injuries just 1 game competitively in the calendar year, combined with the absence of Alejandro Pasuelo, even Richie Larea, the outside back, makes this a somewhat wounded Toronto side, all considered. They conceded in the 3rd minute and saw VAR potentially spare them 2 more marks.
Mark, stay on top of it first.
This is a corner for Cruz Azul. Ball knocked across. Pineda.
Away. Buenaro. Next ball. Okay, here we go. Look short. Look short. Going right back to you.
Service. Struck by Baca.
Good, turn and see it.
Earlier tonight, on the opposite side of the bracket, Philadelphia went to Atlanta and throttled Atlanta United 3-0. Kasper Shabilko scored twice. Anthony Fontana scored as well. Monterrey and Columbus meet tomorrow for the first leg of their quarterfinals. They're the parallel match on this side of the bracket. Kept in by Alvarado with plenty of English on the ball. Auro. Osorio barrel rolls out of the Pineda challenge. Rolled through for Schaffelberg. Escobar. Bradley.
Second ball. Good. Second ball. Round second one. Alert, Jake. Bring the second. Alert.
Fourth fixture of this quarterfinal. Club America taking on Portland Timbers. The final game of the first legs in the quarterfinal round. It's going to be a unique year in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League without doubt. The fact that the quarterfinals will conclude, the semifinals won't begin until after the conclusion of Gold Cup in late August. Morrow trying to stab this away. Good work by Rivero. Swings the cross. Came off of Angulo. Came off of Priso. Second effort deflected away as well. And now Marky Delgado.
Go again. Up, up, up. Yeah, Joe. Up, up. Come on, let's go.
Escobar gave it away. Toronto, in kind, gives it right back. Zavaleta circles away from Montoya. Slams it off the ad boards. Altidore. All ahead for Angulo. Angulo settles. Pineda. Bradley arrives. Romo. Montoya's combination, Pineda and Romo following with a bit of tricky skill. Bradley. Auro. Sprung out to Morrow, and now Priso. Osorio, no one to combine with.
Está de espalda, Bien, bien. Veo los costados, Brian. No cierres el Up, up, vamos.
Priso.
Come on, Aaron, find some space with Michael.
Toronto came in publicly saying nothing truly favors us in this tie. Bradley, well done with Schaffelberg. Osorio springs out to Delgado, cuts this low. Bradley closest, Altidore running as well. Auro sprinting down the line. This stayed in. Osorio. Auro. Closed down by 3 blue shirts.
Come on, just
justice, yes, much more. Up and in. There's nothing there. Come on. Be an option, Just.
Gonzalez swings this across. Toronto did have a surprise visitor training this week. All their time in Florida. They had a large alligator climb onto their training pitch. No determination yet if this is an airbud kind of scenario with the reptilian visitor. But alligator did not dress as Twitter so desperately wished it would.
Come on, Mark, come on. Come on, Michael, it's coming. Yes. Come on, Omar, up. It's up here.
Chris Armas trying to set
Come on, Eric.
this Toronto back line higher. Melrose ridden out by Alvarado. Priso. Icing through. Comes back to Escobar. Zavaleta foul, playing on a yellow. Center back going through. Angulo scored twice, the third and the 34th. Cruz Azul has had a goal wiped off correctly by VAR, and another potential penalty which appeared to hit off the leg of Jonathan Osorio and carry him off his arm. Not deemed a penalty inside the area. Toronto equalized. Alvarado.
Sorry, I'm trying to don't bother you.
Came out really kindly for Alvarado to take that shot, simply leaned a bit back. Romo. Wins the free kick for Cruz Azul. Patrick Mullins, the striker. Nick De Leon receiving their final instructions for Toronto.
There's space, Mark. Jacob, ready to peel. Here we go. Post for Jacob. Outside near post ball, huh?
Romo stretched out in an awkward way.
Good, Jacob, ready to peel. Back here, ready for the play. Good. Back here, ready for the play. See you, Jacob.
And a free kick to come here.
Here we go. Here we go. Jacob ready. Jacob ready. Away.
Free kick. Header down and in! Pablo Aguilar this time. Set pieces, an absolute disaster tonight for Toronto FC. Cruz Azul have 3 road goals.
Away.
Bradley caught underneath. And Pablo Aguilar, who's done it so well for so long, spikes it off the top of Bradley's head, it appears, and careens into the net. Cruz Azul's advantage now 3-1. Altidor's night is over. Osorio comes off as well, both coming off of injuries. Osorio managed a goal in the 20th. Mullins and De Leon enter. mission accomplished for Cruz Azul on the night, no question. Toronto's gonna need 3 to overturn the result. They can get 1 here tonight. Make them feel much better. The problem, as we enter into the 60th minute, these 2 changes could simply compound Toronto's problems. Hernandez and Rodriguez set to come on. Oberlin Pineda was one of the young starlets for that Chivas side that knocked off Toronto in 2018, the Champions League final coming off. Jonathan Rodriguez playing as well as any striker in the League MX right now, tied 3rd most goals in the Clausura, including 3 on penalties. Romo. Gonzalez. This will sneak through. Morrow wise to it. Bono. Walter Montoya went out with Rodriguez coming on. And Hernandez, a replacement for Pineda in midfield.
Up, come on, Eric, up, up.
Schaffelberg slaloming through defenders on the free kick. Weaving back and forth and a hard landing.
All the way up. Omar, we gotta get to that striker.
Flex down, Mullins was sniffing nearby. Omar Gonzalez. Auro.
Buena, Brian, dale, papá, que va.
So often you have cagey first legs, sides trying to feel one another out. Philadelphia jumped on Atlanta 3-0 tonight, and now Cruz Azul 3-1 up on Toronto. And it's the road sides, the dominant offensive showings, which makes the mountain all that much taller for Atlanta and now Toronto moving forward.
Come on, Omar, again, go up again. Come on,
Schaffelberg. Heel for a handball. Rodriguez rolls this out. Hernandez. Hernandez cuts inside, hammers away at it, and Gulo is hoping it would fall to him. Escobar does enough to wave it back. Corona. The 40-year-old just continuing to add to what's been a sterling resume. How many years remain for Corona as captain this side?
Nick, come on, Nick, you gotta put some pressure here. Come on.
Into the final third. Stummied through by Hernandez, and Gulo wasn't able to fan it toward goal. De Leon, Bradley, Priso. Back line dropping and continuing to drop with Delgado. Schaffelberg. Ignacio Rivero. Zavaleta stepped in. Kept it from Angulo. Bradley. Out of the finger trap and out to Auro. Romo, a foot race. Bono. Bono's a bit helter-skelter right now, isn't he? Did enough. Hopes Toronto maintain possession. There still is 25 minutes left in this match. Try and make something happen here for Toronto. It's only the first leg. A long way to go and a trip to Mexico City awaits. It's been Cruz Azul on the gas pedal all night. Priso. De Leon. Alvarado shielding expertly. Hernandez. Changes coming here. Schaffelberg appealed there for the handball, and take a look at this. That clearly seems to get up onto the wrist. And with this stoppage, and Yotun Jimenez set to come on, one wonders if the VAR is paying close attention to that. Angulo out, 2 goals, what a night. Chiquito Jimenez comes on. Yotun as well. Tsubasa Endo has come on. Replaces Schaffelberg. It's 3 changes now for Toronto. It's 4 for Cruz Azul. Endo. Endo went for goal right off the bat. Yotun. Aldrete. Henner comes back to Corona. Easy enough. Alvarado came out a moment ago as well, so Yotun replaces him. Auro. 69 minutes in the books. Did that clip the heel of Auro? He'll throw quickly. Play will continue. Bradley. Delgado. Siphoned off well by Cruz Azul. Their defense has been just as difficult as expected. Ball knocked across. Mullins to get the finishing touch. Couldn't. Skips all the way through and out the other side. Away from Mullins. Endo. Never afraid to pull the trigger. Delgado. Priso. Rolled over by Yotun. Morrow. Knocked across toward Mullins. Gonzalez. Foul. Farrell.
Gotta go! Gotta go! Good round. Early set, 29's there. Keep moving past, stay. Ralph, double down on 7. Go high. Good soup.
Cruz Azul after it again. Ball across, header, bangs off the post. It was nearly 4 for Cruz Azul. Morrow slides in. Look at Jimenez eking in behind, bracketed by 2 defenders. Off the post, and Gonzalez able to get it away. 19-year-old Jimenez again, and that's a high boot from Romo.
Delante de ellos. Santi, con el contención. 5-4-1, va.
There's that high boot, Zavaleta. Trying to get something on that, and Romo attended to him immediately. All the while, back into play. 17 minutes in stoppage, separating Cruz Azul from one of their more emphatic victories of the campaign. Certainly their 8-0 win against Arcai is going to be a natural outlier. This has been as impressive a result for a League MX side against the MLS side as we've seen. Endo, brilliant. All the way across, Bradley, Bradley again, and another block. Escobar the second time. Jonathan Rodriguez. Trotting forward, and the combination wasn't there. Bradley giving the college try, not once but twice. Aguilar gets down. Further sacrifice from Escobar. Endo's provided a little bit of pop to this game. De Leon splays out, clears the air with Aldrete. Change here for Cruz Azul. Guillermo Fernandez is going to replace Luis Romo. Fifth and final substitution for Cruz Azul. Fernandez arriving and immediately speaking about the football debt that Cruz Azul has. Their last Liga MX title in the Liguilla, 1997. They've won Champions League since then. They finished first in the league table in the Clausura. Played across by Delgado. Aldrete. Bit too cunning for his own good. Auro, excellent. Delgado tried to give it back. Angulo twice. Aguilar in the 58th, the third for Cruz Azul. Osorio leveled it. It's 2 unanswered for Cruz Azul. 3 road goals in this first leg. And an injured Cruz Azul player down behind the halfway line. That's the offensive engine. Rodriguez trying to take some of the studs of Omar Gonzalez. Priso comes off. Ayo Akinola comes on. Akinola's had some really impressive performances coming through the academy into Toronto FC 2 in the USL Championship, signed a homegrown in 2017. Ball beyond Akinola there. Akinola did get the call into the U.S. national team. Captain scored against El Salvador in 2020. Looking forward to potentially getting back in that mix. Only 21. Toronto's COVID-19 issues during preseason kept any players from Toronto FC off not only the Canadian roster, but the American roster as well. Perhaps Akinola would have been in the middle of that. An American side that ultimately failed to qualify to go to Tokyo. It didn't hold up for Yotun.
Bien, Paul, bien, Paul. Intermedio, Paul. Ese rebote ahora.
Gonzalez rises up. Auro.
Up, up, up. Yeah, Pat. You're good there.
Aguilar. The switch and the nod onward. Fernandez. Short of Rodriguez. Akinola. Back to Bono. Endo. Bradley. Giving off to De Leon. Delgado did well to keep this moving. Down the line, Morrow for Bradley. Zauro once more. Schaffelberg, Pineda, Gonzalez. And a perplexed Michael Bradley. Celebrations galore tonight for Cruz Azul. It's been all the emotions tonight. Ultimately, with 10 minutes to go, it feels like a victorious emotion will overcome Cruz Azul when this is done. This first leg allows for 3 road goals. And a Cruz Azul side that has lost just 1 game at Estadio Azteca in their Champions League history. Next week will be their 30th match at home in Champions League.
Come on, Ayo, yes, hard.
Aldrete.
Buena, Adrián, eso es, papá. Muy bien, Vaca, muy bien, Vaca.
Escobar sprays this to the opposite touchline. Fernandez unable to hang on. Rivero. Fernandez. Pirouettes out of pressure. Baca.
You gotta launch. Come on, Pat.
Escobar. Gonzalez. It's allowed to bounce forward, and now out to Fernandez. Is there a 4th in this for Cruz Azul? Big rebound came off Bono, and Zavaleta slides this out the other way. The offside flag was up. Flag entering into the equation late. Bono. The pressure from Cruz Azul so high up the field, so late in this match. De Leon's broken through. But he's left something behind. Momentary, and Delgado spins out.
Come on. Ayo, give us a whip. Ayo, in these moments, give us the whip.
Second ball hoovered up by Jimenez.
good. We run hard. Good. Come on, Nick. Yes, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead. Fan out, Just. Fan out, Just.
Aguilar. Rodriguez. Dangerous as ever. Zavaleta went in on Rodriguez. Rodriguez saying, is this clear and obvious? Well, play allowed to continue. Here the VAR did look. Endo. Moro. Endo. Aguilar on the slide. Back out to Delgado. Still time here for Toronto to try and salvage something out of this first leg. Got a goal, but it means they need 3 at the Azteca. They can get 1 more. Gives them a little more breathing room and a far greater chance to recover in the second leg. Angulo twice, Aguilar the third for Cruz Azul. Goal disallowed as well. Poorly defended set piece, later deemed to be offside. Osorio's goal in the 20th, the bright spot for Toronto FC.
Second ball, Nick. Suba, inside second ball. Pat, just reconnect when it comes. Second ball, Nick. Ayo, second ball. Cabeza! Cabeza!
The ricochet results in a Cruz Azul corner. 3 minutes and stoppage.
Focus, focus. Come on. Right there, Nick. Right there. Don't move. Tap forward and to your left. Good mark post end.
Referee just showed yellow.
To the top. Strong. Go in it. Go in it.
And it was Guillermo Fernandez who went into the book there a moment ago.
Here we go. Come on. Away. Good up.
De Leon.
Para mí 3 minutos. Porque falta un partido. 3 minutos y medio. Y se cierran todas las
One has to wonder if this is the year for Cruz Azul. Reaching back into top gear. We're a bit concerned by the way they allowed San Luis to hang around in the last game in the domestic league. This performance in Tampa, certainly enlightening. The reclassification will make things interesting as ever in Ligue MX. The Ligia looms. Bradley sought De Leon. This is the winningest club in Concacaf Champions League. En route to their 36th ever win.
Second ball, Ayo. Second one. Up, Omar. Come on, Omar. How many minutes, guys? Cerrado.
Zavaleta. Late goal one way or the other. It even now significantly changed the attitude of these teams going to the second leg in Mexico City. Into stoppage time, 3 additional minutes, and Bono squats down, takes the shot from Jimenez.
Did I give you respect today? I haven't said anything.
You can talk. Not that way.
3 minutes? Really? All the fucking time they're wasting? The whole fucking game you guys are wasting time.
A free kick for Toronto.
Almighty fucking Cruz Azul wasting fucking time. Scared shit.
There's some clear vocal unhappiness right now on the Toronto touchline. Seemingly about the stoppage time that was allotted. Is there a goal in this for Toronto? Bradley delivers. Alro, the brakes pumped by Rodriguez. Room here for Yotun. Rivero. This struck off the volley by Yotun. Bono kept it in. 90 seconds to go. How could you put it any other way? What a performance by Cruz Azul tonight. Grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, 3 minutes in. A gorgeous goal by Angulo. Toronto started to find themselves a 10-minute stretch. Bono gets to the edge of the penalty area and launches himself into it. Nothing is done and dusted in this quarterfinal entering the second leg. For as many times as MLS teams have struggled in Mexico, Toronto, among those who've shown more mettle than most. Threaded through. Hernandez. Offside flag was up. It would take something narrowly short of a miracle for Toronto in the second leg. They'll need to play their absolute best game against Mexico's best team. The full-time whistle sees Cruz Azul 3-1 winners over Toronto FC in the first leg of this quarterfinal. The performance tonight by Cruz Azul simply scintillating. Brian Angulo bags a goal in the third, again in the 34th. The debut of VAR is involved twice, and Cruz Azul doesn't benefit from either. The goal from Osorio ultimately gives Toronto something to dream about going to Mexico City in the Azteca next week. But in Tampa Bay tonight, and behind closed doors, Cruz Azul do quite the job in this quarterfinal of Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. For our entire team at home and abroad, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching. It finishes Cruz Azul 3, Toronto FC 1. Good night.